Final update. Am I the a-hole for demanding to check my brother's girlfriend's bags before they leave my house? Original post. A bit of background here. I, 39 female, have a brother, 32 male, who I'll call Chase. Chase has been with this girl, 35 female, that I'll call Vivian, for almost 2 years now. About a month into their relationship, Vivian got pregnant with my nephew, who is now almost a year old. Vivian also has 2 daughters, 5 and 8, from a previous relationship. Her daughters are very close in age to my daughter, 7 female, and up until last weekend, everyone got along fine. They live in a different state than us, but come to visit fairly often and stay with us because we have the extra room. Last weekend they came to stay again, and about an hour before they left, my daughter noticed that a few of her favorite toys were missing. The girls had been playing all weekend, so I didn't think much of it and offered to help her look for them. After about 20 minutes of searching, we could not find the toys anywhere, so I asked Vivian's girls if they remembered where they were playing with them last. The girls said no, but acted a little guilty about it. I asked Chase and Vivian about it, and Chase said he saw the exact toys in the room that Vivian's girls were sleeping in. We went to check, and they were not there. He asked Vivian if she had moved them when she packed the girls' things that morning, and she said they were not there. We went back into the living room, and I saw Vivian's girls huddled close together over a backpack and quickly close it when they saw we were there. Chase asked the girls again if they knew where the toys were, and this time they didn't say anything and just looked at their mom. Chase reached for the bag, and Vivian lost it. She started yelling at me, saying how dare I accuse her daughters of stealing, and she tried to snatch the bag away. Chase opened it, and there were the missing toys, plus a few more. I was absolutely furious. I told her I wanted to see what else she had, and demanded she open the 2 suitcases. She said that was an invasion of her privacy and tried to take them and leave. Chase stopped her and made her open them. She had taken several tops, a few skirts and dresses, and a brand new pair of Nikes that belonged to my daughter. I took everything back and told her she and her girls were not allowed back in my home. I have since received several texts from her and a few unknown numbers telling me I embarrassed her and upset her girls because they were promised the items. Chase is upset with her, but said I was too mean to her in front of everyone and that I could have handled the situation more privately. I do feel awful that her girls left crying, but am I the a-hole for how I handled the situation? Edited to add answers to a few questions I keep getting. I am not sure who promised the girls the items. She wouldn't elaborate, but I'm assuming it was her. She wanted me to pull her aside into a different room away from Chase and the kids to talk the situation out. Also, yes, I'm 99% sure the baby is his. He is almost a carbon copy of my brother when he was a baby. I do not believe the girls knew they were stealing the things. I really believe their mom told them I said it was okay. We have never had problems with the girls before this. They really seem to be good kids. Also, I'll be talking with my brother tonight or tomorrow to discuss things further. Now for the top comments before reading the updates. Not the a-hole. Holy crap. That is a hot mess. You should not feel bad for their crying, but you might talk to your brother about his terrible choice in partners. Our family never really loved her, but she has never done anything before this. To my knowledge, that was a major red flag. Unfortunately, even if he does leave her, he's stuck for another 17 years. Not the a-hole. I may not have thought to open the suitcases. I would have thought the girls just stole the toys, but the clothes make it seem like it was Vivian's act, especially if the girls were promised them. Who else would promise them? Your brother, his girlfriend, and children/stepchildren shouldn't be invited back. Anyone saying anything to you can host them themselves or shut the heck up. I normally wouldn't have thought to check either, but the way she grabbed them and tried to leave set off all the warning bells in my head. And who was there to be embarrassed in front of? It sounds like it was just your 2 families. You don't want to be called out as a thief? Don't steal. I embarrassed her in front of Chase and my perfect daughter, as she called her. They are no longer welcome back. My brother and nephew can stay anytime, but he'll have to leave them at home. They are not married, thank goodness. As far as I know, the girl's dad has been in and out of the picture for the last 4 years. My brother pays for everything and provides for them. I'm hoping to talk some sense into him. Edit/mini update. I will be speaking with my brother in about an hour. I have been in contact with someone who knows her, and a lot has come to light. I will update again if my brother says I can, as it's his life and not mine. Vivian is not at all who she claims to be. Update the next day. Thank you all so much for the responses. I'm sorry I haven't been able to get to everyone's comments, as I really didn't think this would take off. I talked with my brother last night and showed him a lot of your comments and suggestions. And thanks to someone in the comments, we now know a lot more about Vivian and the kind of person she really is. I will not be able to tell you all everything, but I can tell you that my brother and nephew are now staying with us. While he gets a DNA test and proceeds to cut ties with her, I may have more to give you all in the coming days or weeks, depending on what the paternity test says. Again, thank you all so much. Now for the background story of Vivian from a different poster, someone who grew up with Vivian. The legend of Cass. That's what we'll be calling Vivian from now on, and the story will pick up from the point of view of this woman who still lives in the same town they grew up in. Well, this has certainly blown up, but who am I to deny the people what they want? The Cass lore. For obvious reasons, I'm going to be a little vague with certain details for privacy reasons. Mainly, I don't want this crazy train coming back into my life, and hopefully you'll understand why by the end. So buckle up. This one is long and wild, and please don't judge me. We don't associate with any of these people anymore, and haven't for over a decade. Also, I will say that she is a very pretty girl, and has usually gotten whatever she wants from men, so she's not used to hearing no. 2005, when I was 18, my then boyfriend, now husband, and I were invited to a house party hosted by a friend of a friend to celebrate graduation. We knew about half the people there and had been to the house a handful of times before. We were all hanging out in the basement, and after a few drinks, I went upstairs to use the bathroom, and that's where I met Cass, who was 14 at the time. The bathroom door was open, so I walked in and turned on the light, but to my surprise, there she was with some guy, doing things you typically wouldn't do in an unlocked room. I apologized and found a different bathroom. About an hour later, she came downstairs where the rest of us were and locked in on my boyfriend, making a beeline for him. Keep in mind I was right next to him. She tried to sit on his lap, and when he pushed her off, she popped back up like a demented Jack-in-the-Box and immediately started screeching about how she was just playing. You aren't even hot, and you could do so much better than her. We stayed another hour or so and left. A week later, she was blowing up the guy's phone, the one she'd hooked up with, telling him she was pregnant. When he didn't believe her, because honestly, who would after just a week? She tried to press charges for rape. I know my boyfriend and I both had to talk to a police officer because we were there, and I was the one who walked in on them. I don't know what happened after that, but the charges were eventually dropped. 2009. My husband and I are 22, and she's 18. We're now married and living on the East Coast because he's in the military. We come home for his parents' 4th of July party and get tasked with going to get more ice. He runs in to pay, and I'm standing by the ice chests outside waiting for him, and guess who shows up? She walks straight up to me and says something along the lines of how she's glad I finally learned my place, and that she and my husband have been so happy together for the last year. She also made some very vulgar comments about their sex life. I don't even have time to react before he comes back outside, and she goes pale and then bright red. This crazy bitch then has the audacity to look at my husband and ask him what he wants for dinner that night and tries to remind him of plans they supposedly have that weekend to go to the lake with her family, while he just stands there staring at her like a dumbass before asking if he even knows her. I absolutely lose it and almost piss myself from laughing as she stalks off. Once we're back at his parents', he gets a Facebook friend request from her and deletes it. Over the next 3 days, she sends him 4 or 5 more requests, so he blocks her. We go back to no contact the following week and forget all about her again. 2010, I am now 7 months pregnant with our daughter, and we fly back to our hometown one last time before she's born. Of course, we run into Cass again at Walmart. I know how it sounds, but we're from a town of about 5,000 people, so you kind of see everyone all the damn time whether you want to or not. I'm noticeably pregnant, about 7 months along, and I'm only 5'2", and at the time weighed about 115 pounds, so it was very clearly a baby bump. She's with her sister, and they seem to be following us, but we try to ignore them. We're checking out, and again, they're right behind us, still acting like children. But in her defense, she was 19-ish at the time. We're still ignoring them when her sister says fairly loudly, "He'll dump her now that she's fat." We continue to ignore them and leave the store. Later that day, a friend tells us to check Facebook, and lo and behold, there's a picture of me in the snack aisle with the caption, "When you catch your surrogate buying nothing but junk food," and so many comments agreeing about how horrible I am. This psycho had been telling everyone that I was the surrogate for her and my husband's baby. We filed a restraining order the next day. 2018, we moved back to our hometown and buy my family's farmland to start our own cattle business. Highly don't recommend if you like being able to make and keep plans, see your family, or take vacations. As far as we knew, she had gotten married and was living her life away from us. About 6 months after moving back, we get a letter from a family lawyer saying my husband needs to present himself for a paternity test and that we were being sued for child support. Apparently, the baby girl came out white, and Cass's husband was not. She told her husband that my husband had raped her and that it was his baby. Charges were filed, but thankfully we were still in North Carolina at the time of conception, and the Army's very meticulous about knowing where their soldiers are at all times. The charges were immediately dismissed, as were the paternity test and child support case. We filed another restraining order and installed cameras all over our property. Her husband ended up adopting the baby, and they stayed together. 2020. She makes the front page of our town paper. Apparently, Cass has had another baby girl, who also didn't match her husband's skin tone. He kicked her and the kids out, and one night she came back to his house, in full view of his security cameras, in her own car, with the kids, and set his porch on fire. The husband got temporary custody of the girls for about 2 years while Cass was in jail. 2023. She gets the girls back and dips out of state. The husband files a police report, and everyone is looking for her. Unfortunately, the husband passes away in a car accident that same year. 2025, I'm doom scrolling on Reddit and see a story that sounds very familiar, and here we are. Reasons I thought it was her from the other post, her and the girl's ages. We knew she had a baby boy recently. She has a history of theft, and immediately playing the victim when caught. We still have a few mutuals on Facebook, so I do see her posts from time to time and knew she moved in with a new guy, OP's brother from the other post, about a year and a half ago. Well, I think that's the meat and potatoes of it. I'll be around later this afternoon to answer any questions. I may have some of the dates off, but hell, my memory's trash these days, and I try not to think about her or any of those crazies. Her fixation on your husband is so scary. Hopefully she continues to leave you alone. I also hope her kids turn out okay, because between the other story and this one, it sounds like she has many personal growth opportunities. She's tried to reach him via social media a few times, but we don't really do Facebook or anything like that anymore, and just try to live pretty private lives. I really think part of it is jealousy, because he's one of the few who never fell for her charms. Like I said, it's a very small town, and she really is a pretty girl. Be prepared, she's crazy, and she'll come back when she reads the story on Reddit and realizes it's about her, and maybe reads this too. We have enough to get another restraining order at any time. We also have security cameras all over our property and a few dogs that are the embodiment of wish an MF would. As batshit crazy as this chick is, I'm super glad to see you and your husband have stuck by each other's side. That part makes me happy for you. Thank you. He's my best friend and has been since 8th grade. The crazier thing is, he's not the only one she's latched onto over the years, but I don't feel comfortable telling other people's stories. I'll get a hold of the other guy she's been obsessed with and see if he'll allow me to tell his story on here. Now for the first update from the second poster's point of view. Hey all, this is probably going to be the last Cass update for a while. It's been a rough 48 hours between some issues we're having on the farm due to 4 days straight of rain, and Cass finding the posts about her. I'll try to be brief, but give you guys an update as to what's going on. I have been in contact with the OP from the first post, and have permission to include a couple of updates from her situation as well. Cass has been arrested. Her girls are safe with OP's brother, and they are all back at his house. She found the posts and went feral with comments, and even a post that included a picture of my husband she took from my Facebook, which I have since had to deactivate. We called our local sheriff's department about the harassment and learned she had an active warrant. I was able to get in touch with OP to find out exactly where she was, and they contacted a law enforcement agency in that area, and they went and got her. We have pressed charges as well. Right now, she's looking at stalking, harassment, child endangerment, resisting arrest, and assault on an officer, among the charges she already had pending. I knew what might happen if I responded to OP's post, but I do not regret reaching out to her or exposing her antics. What matters is everyone is safe, and she is being held without bond. This is what the OP from the first post messaged me. The girls are safe with my brother, and he has all 3 children. He has been awarded temporary guardianship and will be getting them into counseling in the coming week. I tried to press charges, but as the items never left my home, I was unable to. We will have the results of the paternity test next week as well, but no matter the outcome, he will be trying to get full rights to my nephew. Edit. Guys, I have had several messages asking for a picture of her. Let me make this very clear. I will not be doing that. I will not be posting her picture on here. I will not be posting her picture in some random group on Facebook. I am trying to protect my family along with the family of the OP of the first post. Heck, at this point, I'm also trying to protect her girls. Stop asking for her picture and pictures of the girls. Second update. Good morning all. I have a couple of updates for you, but first we need to discuss some things. I appreciate all the love we are getting from this, but some of you need to check yourselves. I will not be posting pictures of her. I will not be linking articles. I will not be posting mugshots. I will not be posting her court records. While yes, all of this is public record and can be found online, it will also expose our names, address, and personal information. If you ask, you will be blocked. If I have to block enough people, I will delete this account, and then no one will get updates. Sorry to be an ass, but this is our lives, our home, and I have to put our and our children's safety first. I have also had a few questions about why we moved back with all of this going on every time we came home. This farm has been in my family for over 120 years, and I will not be giving that up over her. Now on to the updates. Cass is still in jail and will be held there until her court date in the coming months, after which she will be transferred back to where she was arrested to face charges there that include child endangerment, resisting arrest, and assault on an officer. We have had a few people ask if we are safe, and yes, we are. We have security cameras that run 24/7 on all structures, barns, houses, sheds, garages, everything, out here, both inside and out. And while yes, part of the reason we have them installed was because of her, the main reason is that we own a working cattle farm. Farm accidents happen all the time, and our insurance is a lot less if we have them. So no, we're not just being paranoid like a few have hinted at. I mentioned in a comment that Cass's brother owns a trucking company that we work closely with, so I was able to fill him in on everything going on. He is talking to OP's brother about taking in the girls, and they have a family court hearing on Friday and will hopefully be living with their uncle soon. He is a really good guy, and his wife is amazing. If they were anything like Cass, they would not be working with us, and I believe they are the girls' best option for a normal upbringing. Now on to the baby boy. Chase, OP's brother, is the father. He already has a lawyer and given the circumstances, should be able to get full custody and rights to him going forward. I will update again after the hearing on Friday, as we will be going with him to help him get the girls. As far as I know, Cass has not reached out to check on them since being arrested. Oh, and no, her late husband's accident was not her doing. He was driving home one night after being at the bar and went off the road. He was found the next day, and there were no signs of foul play. It was determined that the most likely cause was that he was intoxicated. An animal ran out in front of him, and he swerved to miss it but hit a tree. Now for the final update. October 27, 2025, 5.5 months later. Hey all, it's been a minute. I don't know if anyone even cares anymore, but I have a final update. The girls are now in the custody of their uncle, Cass's brother, and his wife. They started school this fall and are doing absolutely great. They are a little behind, but are so smart and catching up quickly. The baby boy is with his dad, and also doing great. Cass is locked up and will be for at least the next 3 to 5 years. She pled guilty to a lot, which expedited the process but did reduce the jail time. She signed her rights away to the baby, but not the girls. That is still ongoing, unfortunately. Good update, OP. I hope things will start getting better for you and that other OP now that Cass is no longer an issue. I hope the girls aren't hurt by any of this and live a much better and happier life. Like I said, they were a little behind academically, and they do have a few behavioral issues. But all in all, they are really good kids. They are doing so much better than anyone expected and are in therapy. We even had them out to the house a couple of times to see the new calves, and they really enjoyed themselves. Last story. Am I the a-hole for being told I was a bad guest after taking care of my sister for a month during her surgery? Am I the crazy one? I, 20 female, stayed at my sister's house for a month. My sister had surgery and could barely move without help. Her husband works long hours. My parents were out of the country, so I stayed with her for about a month. I helped her shower, get dressed, cooked, cleaned, and made sure she was okay every day. While I was there, I really tried to respect their space. I kept my things in my suitcase. I washed and folded my own laundry. I vacuumed. I cleaned the whole kitchen. I did the dishes. When I left, I took the sheets off the inflatable bed I was using, folded everything, and tried to leave the room exactly how I found it. Her husband was up late pretty much every night until around midnight or even 2 a.m., playing video games and talking loudly on Discord. I didn't complain because it's his home, but it made it hard to sleep. They also had several arguments while I was there, including in the car, and one time they even brought me into it, which made everything feel awkward. But I stayed, helped, and did the best I could. The day after I left, I was told I was a bad guest. Apparently, they were upset because there was an empty toilet paper roll on the counter. The small bathroom trash wasn't taken out. There was an empty cheese stick wrapper in the fridge. I honestly don't remember doing that. A water bottle wrapper was left behind, not even sure it was mine, and a clothing tag from a sweater was on the floor. That was it. Those were the complaints. No thank you. No acknowledgement of the month I spent helping her recover. Nothing about the cooking, cleaning, or late nights, just those tiny things. And now my sister wants me to call her husband and apologize. I'm sitting here like, seriously? I showed up when she needed help, tried to be respectful, took care of her for weeks, and this is what I get? I don't know what I'm supposed to feel right now. It honestly stings. Would anyone else actually apologize in this situation? Or am I being blamed for things that don't matter because it's easier than acknowledging the help I gave? Not the a-hole at all. Your sister and her hubby sound super ungrateful. You spent a whole month helping out with everything. Cooking, cleaning, even helping her shower. And they nitpick over an empty TP roll and some trash? That's petty as hell. Don't apologize. They should be thanking you profusely. Sounds like they're projecting their own issues onto you. I am so glad people are seeing this, because for this entire time, I felt like I was in the wrong or I was crazy. I honestly think her husband said this, so I don't stay the night again and he can keep playing till 2 a.m. in the morning in the room I'm sleeping in. Pathetic, right?